The records are now open. I am so grateful. If you are tuning in live or on the replay, welcome to Akashic Answers with Emily. I want to start by inviting you into a deeper truth, which is you are here today for a reason. That's why I started with that thank you. I want to truly thank and acknowledge your higher self for bringing you into this field today, because some magic is going to happen. I'm not sure what reason your higher self is bringing you into this space, and it's my sacred honor and mission in this life to create an environment where whatever you are looking for can drop in for you. Every single thing that we create in this reality comes from a thought. And today I am going to invite you into the field of universal mind, of superconscious intelligence as we explore the Akashic Records together. This show is really all about you. You all help to usher in the energy and the intelligence that will activate all of us today. So I want to tell you what to expect in this video and how to get the most out of it, okay? We are going to tap into the Akashic Records based on the questions that you ask. So you can go ahead and get your questions rolling in if you want to. If you feel something alive in your field, go ahead and type it in. I can't solve these problems for you, but what I can promise you will happen today is that the invitation, you creating this invitation, this feedback loop with universal intelligence, will open up an opportunity for the information to drop into your field. Maybe not through me today, but it will drop into your field. It's the nature of the Akashic Records. When we invite forward intelligence, the universe responds. Okay, so I'm not going to get to all of the questions today, but you typing in your questions, that's the bravest way to do it. If you've got a question that you really want to ask, but you don't feel comfortable asking, ask in your heart. Maybe it's something that you need to work on privately, or maybe with a mentor. That's okay too. But the more we can express our vulnerability and our truth, the more light we are going to bring into this space. So for those of you who are participating, thank you. That's the first thing I want to invite you to do to get the most out of this space. Participate. When we participate, we open up ourselves to feel a field of connection. I want to start right now. I always love to start out the shows by asking you to share where you're tuning in from. And as you see these different locations across our planet coming up in the comments, begin to imagine these pinpoints of light illuminating all over the globe. This is a huge activation to start this process. Okay, I'm coming to you today from the high Sierras from Reno, Nevada, where the Kundalini energy of the planet is surfacing here and also supporting this space. Okay, so that's the first thing you do is participate. Thank you, Anne. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Kay. All of you who are participating, thank you. Nirma, thank you. The second thing I want you to do, and remember, stay for the whole thing. There's a cumulative effect. We're going to jam for the next 30 minutes together. Hi, Vanita. Hi, Anna. 30 minutes, and I'm going to do my best to make it very entertaining for you. If you don't know, I do have a history in the entertainment business, and I've got my script, my notes right here. I used to work on a soap opera, and we always hid our notes in the drawer, or our scripts in the drawer. And I have just returned from a ridiculous adventure on Mount Shasta. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that. But I find that when I come back from experiences like that, the grounding is really important. Integrating and stabilizing the energy of my notes are just going to help keep me on point today, y'all, so I don't go trailing off. You'll experience a little of the trail off when I start channeling. Occupational hazard of intuitives, right? When we're downloading all this information in the field. All right, so number one, participate. Number two, stay for the whole thing. There's a cumulative effect. I also want to invite you, Cindy Kuhlman in the house. Cindy, you're one of my favorite success stories of the transformation that you experienced. There is a cumulative effect to this work, not just tuning in today, but also tapping into the consciousness that's coming through at the Akashic Academy. So I want to invite you, check out the akashicacademy.com, not now, after the show, the akashicacademy.com. We've got incredible resources there to support you, and it's incredible, like I said, the cumulative effect when you begin to harness and anchor yourself in a consciousness. The way you can begin to grow and expand is profound. And the consciousness here at the Akashic Academy is that of the Great Mystery School, designed to connect you with superconscious intelligence so that you can have divine guidance, clarity, wisdom, downloads about anything in your life at a moment's notice. Okay? The other thing I want to invite you to do, number 3, to get the most out of this space, is try things on. Notice if when I'm channeling through information, if you find yourself agreeing or disagreeing, let me invite you to not do that. That's just going to create polarity, and it's going to show you your patterns, okay? You do not have to ultimately agree with everything I say, but try things on. There might be some truth in there for you, and you might be being invited to stretch into a new thought form, maybe one that's not based on collective thought forms or your ancestry, because a lot of times we get programmed with those and we don't even realize we're programmed with those. And when we begin speaking or thinking, I'm speaking so fast, the information is pulling through. When we begin thinking at a higher frequency in a new timeline from our true soul selves, sometimes it can require us to stretch into it a bit. Y'all feeling me? Send some love, likes, hearts across the screen if you're feeling me. All right, I see the questions rolling in. Keep these questions rolling in, and while you all are typing in, I did promise to finish a story about the incredible weekend that I've had. This weekend, I had the privilege of attending the Mount Shasta Summer Conference, VIP backstage passes style. And holy cow, this conference, Rob Potter, you're amazing. This conference brought together some of the most powerful and influential spiritual and quantum thought leaders and visionaries across the globe, all in the same location, Mount Shasta. So the first couple of days I was there, I was really getting to absorb all of this activation, this intelligence. But the story that I want to invite you into starts after the conference. When a handful of the rebel visionaries and thought leaders, including myself, decided to go on an expedition to look for the doorways, the entrances into the interdimensional city of Telos. And if you don't know about Telos, I'm not going to tell the whole story here. I'm just going to give you the abridged version. But I've been sharing this story on the Akashic Academy timeline and on my timeline here on Facebook. So if you like to read, I'm a storyteller. I like to tell you all the pieces as we go. I'll invite you to go back and check out the entirety of that story. But for those of you who have missed it, I'll bring you up to date and I'll give you the abridged version. We went searching for the entranceway, portals into Telos. Telos is a city that is currently in existence and thriving inside of Mount Shasta, interdimensionally inside of Mount Shasta. And the Telosians are refugees from the time of Atlantis and Lemuria. These are mostly Lemurians, but there is some Atlantean lineage in these beings as well. And they pioneered a society continuing some of the paradigms and the codes of existence that were in operation during the civilization here on the planet, during the timeline known as Atlantis and Lemuria. Now, in the height of these civilizations, You all, these people, they operated, I say completely differently. There might be some similarities. Lots of differences, though. Major differences to how our society is operating today. Okay? They had different paradigms for government, for relationships, for money, for food distribution, for healthcare, for jobs, how they made up their jobs. And these templates, these codes, this intelligence, it is now becoming available to us as humans, the civilization known as humans on the surface of the planet. We are being invited, in order to save our civilization, to reinvent, to innovate all of these ways of being. So these powerful, profound codes of intelligence are available. And we went looking for the quite literal doorway. A very dear friend of mine and well-known spiritual influencer in the woo land, Lowell Johnson, had an experience going into Telos. And he shares the location of where this happened. So many of us took this expedition up to not quite the top of the mountain, but pretty close. And we began to meditate, and we began to call forward this connection into Telos so that we could begin to remember this information, so we can transform ourselves into this abundant society, living in our genius, able to self-heal. Did we find the doorway? We did find the doorway. And did we open the portals? Yes, we did. And of course, oh, my whole body's buzzing. Not necessarily in the way that Lowell did. We didn't get our VIP. What the frick, man? I just realized, why didn't I get my VIP backstage passes into Telos? The doorways into Telos are different for everyone, and I'll share with you my interpretation of how we experienced it. We came up to this point on the mountain, and some of us meditated and sang and played instruments and laughed. We all laughed together, and we told stories, and we shared our genius, and we listened to each other, and we talked about our visions and our purposes here on the planet. That's why I told you all connection is so important. I want to create that connection in this space. That level of connection and conversation and what we were verbalizing and bringing forward in the field, amplified up there in that incredible vortex. That is sending that information, that potentiality, pulsing out into the collective grids, making this available for everyone. And I have a very special invitation for you all. I don't know yet how my other visionary and thought leader and spiritual quantum badasses on the planet that I experienced this weekend with, I don't know exactly yet how they're creating with this energy, but I can tell you how I'm creating with it here at the Akashic Academy. I will be returning to Mount Shasta with a crew of my highest trained quantum Jedis in the Akashic Records. And we'll be there over Lion's Gate. We are opening virtual Mount Shasta, an opportunity for, I'll tell you who this is for. This is for the visionaries, the thought leaders, the seekers of the planet. If this is you and you're ready to tap into being able to create at will, like how much creative control do you really have over your life? Are you still miscreating things? Or is your ability to be clear and manifest and create on point? This is designed to get it on point for you. This is designed for those of you who have a devotion to soul mission, whether you know your soul mission or whether your next step on that journey of I'm here to make big impact on the planet for myself, my family, and others. It doesn't matter what point of the journey you're on, whether you're just starting or whether you know your soul mission. This is designed to connect you with clarity, these codes from a time on our planet. And I'll offer this to you. Many of you likely lived past lives as a Lemurian and Atlantean. That's why it's about remembering this intelligence. But there's specific genius and unique skills that you have from this timeline of consciousness that you get to tap into and bring more clarity and more activation to your mission. Can't tell you how incredible Shasta has been for me in progressing and moving my mission forward, collapsing old timelines of lack and of fear. Whew, it's good stuff. All right, so it's going to be about having full creativity over your physical world. It's going to be about clarity of vision. And it's going to be about having a high-level experience with interdimensional beings, with ascended masters, with interdimensional beings, meaning inner earth beings. Sometimes our ascended masters are inner earth beings. Many of them are you, by the way, walking on the surface of the planet and remembering this truth about yourself. And many of them are our intergalactic friends too. So we want to begin to open up these portals of connection for the intelligence and the support. If you are interested in knowing more about this experience, we have limited seating. I want you to comment hashtag Mount Shasta in the comments, and we will share that information with you. All right, no more storytelling. No further ado. If you like that story, by the way, send some love, likes, hearts across the screen. And now we're going to dive into some questions. All right. Okay, thank you for being here. Okay, says, I've been working with my third eye for years, but it feels partially blocked. What do I need to do differently to activate it? Woo, great question, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for being here. If you feel you're going to get some expansion out of this, send some love, likes, hearts across the screen. First thing I wanted to notice and comment for UK is that I saw 2 flashes of light in my peripheral as I was reading your comment in your question. So I want to talk about, and I feel like the guides want me to talk about, the importance of training the peripheral. And this was one of the beautiful conversations that we had on the mountain as well. My friend Apala noticed that she kept seeing beings in her peripheral vision. The peripheral vision is really powerful, okay? So anytime we're talking about vision that is outside of the normal range of human vision that we're used to using, this is our clairvoyance, our clear inner vision, and that comes from the third eye. All of your psychic senses actually, like the third eye can be your center for communication. Okay, sorry, I'm gonna back up one step. The third eye is where we send and receive signals, intuitive signals. And that's really all the human brain is ever doing and thinking anyway. You don't have any original thoughts. You can assimilate thoughts and put new thoughts together and play thought alchemist with your thoughts. But every thought that could potentially ever be is already here. So the brain is just sending and receiving these signals through the third eye. These signals, these data communications, how do we interpret those data communications? We interpret them through our psychic senses, our intuitive senses, our clairs. Okay, and the guides want to talk specifically with Kay about clear vision, clear inner vision. This can mean how we see in our mind's eye, in our imagination, and it can look like movies or still pictures. What I'm finding that is so incredible, similar to how I talked about the veils lifting. I didn't use that vocabulary, but that's really what it is. When we go searching for interdimensional doorways and we are asking for visceral interaction with beings that exist in a different dimension, this is fringy, people. We're pioneering things here at the Akashic Academy. That stretchy point I talked about. It's moving from the plane of our imagination into becoming more visceral. And I'm finding that's what's happening with our clairs, our intuitive senses as well, where we used to experience the majority of it inside of our own field of awareness. We're now experiencing it outside. So you literally see things. And I'm noticing that this is starting in the peripheral. If you've noticed shadows or light in your peripheral, send some love likes, hearts across the screen for me. Acknowledge yourself. Also, a huge part of this work is self-acknowledgement, self-initiation. Yes, that's me. Don't wait for some psychic to tell you that you're psychic, okay? You got to own it. That's me. All right, so let's do the activation for the peripheral vision. Okay. Hands at the heart, slight pressure between the palms. This is going to balance the left and right hemispheres of the brain. Take a nice deep breath for me. Inhaling. Create space in the body, the mind, the emotions. Exhaling. Creating space in the field. Good. Hands out in front of you. I got to go a little slow here because this arm is still not quite all the way healed. Okay, hands out where you can see. I want you to look through your fingers, keeping the gaze forward, bringing the hands to the point of where they disappear to the peripheral and then bring them back. Find that point. And then I just want you can't see my fingers, but I just want you to wiggle your fingers and move them up and down. And wash the fingers, but keeping the eyes focused forward. This is going to train your peripheral muscles, because what happens when we notice something in our peripheral? We turn our head really fast to follow it, but that changes the field of vision. And because of the shape of our eyes, this awesome spherical shape of our eyes, we can actually see different frequencies through our peripheral. I can't remember if it's concave or convex, but it's one of those two. Right? So activating the peripheral. Good. Last time, bring the hands back to a state of prayer pose, slight pressure as you integrate that upgrade. Now your job, and by the way, this upgrade is for everybody. I did not explain that at the beginning. But whoever's question I dive into, I'll answer your question particularly, Kay. If any of what I said resonates for you out there, please know the message is for you too. And the activation is for everybody. If you receive that activation, type yes. Your job is to now notice what comes into your peripheral. Flashes of light, shadows. Don't get freaked out by them. But practice when you notice something in your peripheral, keep your vision where it is and just relax into whatever is coming forward for you. Okay? Let's hear it for Kay. Thank you for that. That was fun. This means love likes hearts across the screen, by the way. If you're new here, did I even introduce myself? I'm Emily Harrison, founder, director of the Akashic Academy, if you're new here. My mission is to train visionaries and light workers and seekers to access this realm of intelligence, the Akashic Records. And it's fun because I'm just showing you how it works today. All right. Oops, come back, Nirma. Nirma says, in all the challenge I go through, I would like to know how I can keep standing and stay well-grounded. Woo! Thank you, Nirma. All right. We tap into your guides. I already feel just so much energy coming in. Number one thing is we've got to change our story around challenge. There is always a gift in the wound, no matter how challenging it is. And here's the thing. If it's real damn challenging, that means that you haven't paid attention to the karmic cycles that have been trying to get your attention a lot sooner than this. Because that's what karma does, is it begins to increase its intensity if we don't pay attention. Karma, here at the Akashic Academy, I want to give us all common lexicon, common vocabulary here. When I say karma, I am referring to unlearned lessons that your soul is here to learn, and you haven't quite gotten all of the pieces of it yet. If you have not been able to find that gateway to enjoy your challenges, there's actually a part of my human and my higher awareness that really appreciates and leans into my challenges because I know there's so much there for me. And I love growth so much that I get excited. So changing our story, it's like I've reconnected my neural pathways. So it's like ringing the bell and the salivating dog when my challenges come up. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm about to up level. Yes. Yes. Thank you. So changing the story around it is huge. It's really important that you have lightness of being, especially you, Nirma, lots of laughter in your life. Laughter is medicine. It is a frequency that will break up negative energy. Okay, now the guides want to shift and talk about physical grounding and how important was we're talking about where we're crossing over these veils of interdimensional activity into physical. Okay, that means one level of woo, but it also means we're taking the knowledge, we're taking the wisdom that comes in at a certain vibrational frequency, a certain plane, and then we're embodying it. I mean, we're doing something with it. We're taking action with it. So here are the actions that you can begin to take. Take your shoes and socks off, go outside and stand on the ground barefoot. Grass, dirt is best. You can also do rocks. You can do concrete because it's technically rock if you must. This is called earthing. We have, and this is going to up-level your intuition in K2 for you, third eye. See how I said this build on each other? I like it. We got to do the things that are going to support our energy field. And modern day society has been lifted more and more off of the ground, off of our connection with Mother Earth. When we were a civilization that was barefoot and touching the ground and laying and sleeping on the ground, but barefoot is really the most important because I'll tell you why. On the bottom of your feet per square inch, there are more receptors of energy than anywhere else in your body. Your body is this bioelectric machine, and the earth is your giant bioelectric battery. It's being struck by lightning, I think like 11,000 times per second. That might not even be correct. But massive amounts of energy currents pulsing through. And if you just stand on the earth, your body will create that connection and you will refuel and recharge yourself, as well as create a strong connection to the planet to stay more grounded. The more we wear high heels and shoes and sleep in high beds and high-rise buildings, I said I'm not going to let you blame anybody else, but there are mechanisms put in place in our society that are keeping us from our highest level of intelligence. So I went out and slept in nature this weekend. I slept on the mountain. I love sleeping on the mountain. I feel very charged. Thank you all for being able to hold all this energy today. All right, so let's pull in an activation here. Feet on the ground. This one's going to be easy. Thank you, Nirma. All right, hands together in this prayer pose, slight pressure to create balance and harmony in your masculine and feminine, in your intuition and your logic. Nice deep breath. 3 nice deep breaths. That one's 1. And feel your feet on the ground. Take your consciousness, send it right into the place where your toes are touching, the balls of your feet, the heels of your feet. Just explore that space. Take the consciousness down into that very thin dimensional layer where your feet are connected to the floor, to Mother Earth. Notice what's going on in that space. Is there temperature? Is there energy you can detect? A feeling or a buzzing sensation? Is there a color? There's nothing, that's fine too. You're still getting the activation. If you're showing up and doing it, you're getting the activation. Just some grounding energy. One more nice deep breath. Come back to the sacred classroom with me. Hands up in a receptive position. What will grounding do for you? It'll mellow you out. It'll keep you more still, more connected from this space. Your clarity increases. Your stress decreases. You have access to resource. The guides want to speak specifically here in these last moments together about financial resource. And if you feel like you're lacking in financial resource, and now they want to expand it to abundance and resource in your health, abundance and resource in your relationships, your ability to source and resource and create from within a life that serves you, that is an environment for creating joy and happiness and bliss in your life. If you are not currently experiencing that, slow down, ground into the earth, the nature of Mother Earth, of Goddess Sophia. She was a consciousness that was so fully embodied in her ability to self-express, which means to create in the highest levels of joy and beauty and bliss and magnificence and innovation and free will. She was so embodied in this consciousness that she incarnated as a physical planet. This is planet Earth. This is what you're connecting with. You are in lineage and soul contract to be on the surface of the planet at this time, creating the life that you know you were meant to live. It's our job to do it. Amen. Can I get an amen? And we're 1 minute over. I promised you we were going to jam for a half an hour. Whew, I want to thank you, Norma, for that. That felt really good. You are all here to source and resource genius, innovation, and intelligence for the planet. If you know that you're here to do this and you want to participate in the portals that we are opening up August 8th, 9th, and 10th virtually, again, type virtual Mount Shasta in the comments. We will share with you more of what that experience looks like. It's a very limited experience because we need to be able to support all of the bandwidth with integrity. But I love you all. Thank you for being here. If this broadcast today served you, please share this out. There is somebody in your life who will also benefit from the insight and activations that came in today. I love you all. I cannot wait to see you back here again next week. Thank you for being here.